What's up, everybody? It's your boy Baybar to Go Bar coming at you with another Magic the Gathering Puzzle Quest video. So, those of you guys that watched my last video have already seen a version of this deck. I'm also happy to report that I am still married. Yeah, well, my wife texted me in the middle of it, like, you're supposed to be home soon, right? And I have to work late, and I'm like, oh crap, I'd totally forgotten. But I actually made it home in time, and then to relieve our nanny, and then I was also able to throw it back in my wife's face, like, of course I was gonna be there on time. I'm not so immature that I would forget such a important thing as showing up to care for my children. Oh God. But anyway, so the reason I'm running a Vraska deck again is I ran it in Legacy last time, and I was showing it off, and I was saying, the standard version can be made, but it's a lot worse. And even though that's probably true, the more I've been playing with it, the more I've actually realized it's actually very viable and actually pretty relevant for a certain few objectives, specifically cast X or less creatures, which it can do a pretty good job of and be pretty brutal. So let me show you the deck. This is the standard legal version. So the deck is based on Primeval's Glorious Rebirth, which says you basically have to have a legendary creature on the battlefield, and then once you do, if you cast this, it returns all legendary creatures from your graveyard to the battlefield. So the idea here is we want to dump a lot of legendary creatures into our graveyard, and then effectively tutor them back onto the battlefield. The creatures we're running are Ghalta, Primal Hunger, just because he's big, bossy, amazing creature that can help control the board with his trample. And yeah, he's just really, really solid. A lot of people run him in a mono-only deck. I think he's excellent pretty much everywhere. Gishath is a new dino I got, another named creature. These are probably not the ones I would pick if I had my options, 100%. There's probably a lot better options in the set, but this is, again, black-green, and a lot of the good creatures aren't actually named, so they don't have that legendary tag or historic tag that's necessary. But whenever he attacks, or whenever he deals damage, the first dinosaur from your hand that does not him gets full mana, which is a pretty strong ability. Tishana, the reason we picked Tishana is she's somewhat cheaper than a lot of the named pretty good creatures, and also she's got a pretty cool little feature where whenever she enters the battlefield, draw a card for each creature you controlled, and this creature gets +X/+X, where X is equal to 2 times the amount of cards in your hand. So a lot of times when you're playing this deck, you're not dumping your hand repeatedly. You're basically drawing a lot, getting a lot of stuff in hand, and then she draws cards once you start, playing Glorious Rebirth, and a lot of times she starts pumping herself up pretty dramatically, to the tune of, +9/+9 every time you cast a new copy of her. So let's see here. So Hour of Promise is our gem converter number 1. We'll go ahead down here to Thunderherd Migration. This, to me, is probably the second best gem converter in Standard right now. And this is a Revelation to make sure we keep drawing enough cards. None of those are super relevant, but it's good. You want to have some ramp to get all these expensive cards out. Reason to Believe is a good way to cheat out a creature, so you can cast your Glorious Rebirth. Also a good draw engine. You have Gather the Pack, which helps us. This is one of the key cards. It is a uncommon, and it allows you to basically draw a creature or 2 based on the amount of green gems, but also the important one is destroy the next 4 creatures in your library. This is really good because it both increases your chances of getting Glorious Rebirth and some of the other key components, but it also, because the next 4 creatures are destroyed, so you have a less likelihood of drawing a creature, and additionally it puts 4 in the graveyard, which will be tutored back out by Glorious Rebirth. And then Growing Rites of Itmolac, and this basically does a similar thing where you fetch the next 4 creatures and destroy 3 of them and put 1 of them into your hand. So again, a way to dump stuff into the graveyard. Man, I'm getting spammed. At the beginning of your turn, if you flip it, which is if you have 3 creatures on your board at the end of the turn, you flip it. And it's basically becomes like a little 9 gem converter if you have 3 creatures on the board every turn. So it's a little bit win more, but it's a really, really strong card. Excellent draw card. I love this card. All right, so let's give it a whirl. Today I'm going to play against Noxious Gearhulk. The Fateful Showdown event's going on right now, and I wanted a longer game with a bigger life total. So, this guy has a lot of removal, so it shows some interesting effects. I think this is a good choice. Let me know what you think about playing against some of these bosses versus doing PvP. What I didn't want to happen is just get in there and drop a couple of Ghaltas and win the game and, 2 minutes without even casting Glorious Rebirth, so this will probably give me a better chance of actually showing the deck off and what it can actually do. I actually think this deck is actually going to be relevant in the meta, probably for a lot of different events and a lot of different nodes and stuff, and plus it's quite a bit of fun. So, alright, let's go ahead and put it in this order, I guess. Yeah, let's do that, because we have to get a creature on board. Let's maybe see what that one is. So right now we have 4 in our graveyard. And I realize I'm playing a slightly different version of this deck than I thought I was playing. Alright, we're just going to go with it. I'm going to do the Reason to Believe to see if we can get more stuff dumped in our graveyard. I think that's probably the right play. Yeah, go and play both of them, I guess, huh? Get Ghalta down. Okay. So let's see, we definitely drew some graveyard dump oriented stuff. We don't really need Tishana at this juncture. One I've been experimenting with is using one of these. It's not Grind to Dust, but it's one of like that. I forget what the name of it is, but it basically lets you return exiled cards back to your graveyard if you activate it after you cast it. I'll figure it out after the match, but that's a really cool concept with a deck like this because you can actually just throw away your creatures from your hand and then actually manage to get them back to your graveyard. So I've never seen that card used anywhere, nor are there very many options to use it, but it's actually a pretty interesting way to go about it. I'd love to get a gem converter right now. I took out my Ghalta. I ain't mad at you, bro. Good job. Got a whole lot of draw, and that's about it right now. I don't think we need 2 of those. I think I would like to go ahead and see if we can get a ramp spell. This is taking way too long to get up to speed at this current pace. So this Gearhulk's actually not toothless. I'm gonna laugh if I lose. He's actually, somewhat effective. Since we drew it, I'm gonna go ahead and see if we can ramp right now into our Glorious Rebirth. Double Itmolac first. Man, that was terrible. Thank God that's on a match 5. Alright, so I guess we want our cheapest creature in our hand. Because... yeah. So what is that? That's my Believe. Alright, so I guess I can take advantage of that. I don't know why I would dismiss him right now. That doesn't help anything. Let's go ahead and do this. Alright, now I have a bunch of cards in my graveyard. So let's go ahead and put him in the hand because he'll auto play himself if I get enough damage on the board. Let's see. Enough power on the board, I guess is the right way to say that. I'm going to go ahead and ult here just to kind of slow him down. Maybe I should have taken care of that Dynavolt tower with my first. Oh well. Let's see if we can get into Glorious Rebirth here. Not quite. But I feel pretty... Uh-oh, actually. I might need another creature here in a second. Let's see what he plays. Alright, nothing. Good. Ooh, do I have 10 mana? That'd be even better. Let's see. So green is going to give me 6 and blue is going to give me 4. That looks good to me, huh? Alright. So let's see the payoff here. How many things do I get out here? Tishana goes from a 1/1 to a 13/13. Interesting. Oh, it's 6 cards. Yeah, 6 times 2. Duh, 12, not 10. All right. So he buffs him 12 every time. I mean, yeah, that's right. So he's 1/1 plus his 12. You see all the Ghaltas in my hand are now full of mana. You're just seeing what this deck can actually do. So there we go. That's a pretty strong board state, I would argue. Now I guess I could probably get some life gain from my... He's pretty close to killing me though, isn't he? But I'm pretty close to killing him too. So we'll race, buddy. Let's see who wins. Hopefully I can play a Nissa's Revelation and get a little bit of breathing room right here. Yep. Alright. So I might as well take it. One interesting thing is if he does end up, destroying all your creatures, you're basically 1 card away as far as getting another rebirth from basically rebuilding your board, fully. So it's pretty awesome. I recommend if you have this card, trying out a deck like this. I know it takes quite a few pieces, but Itmolac, I don't know if he's necessary, but it's very good having something other than just gather the pack in here. The creatures can be whatever you have that are named. Doesn't really matter. Obviously stronger ones are better, of course. But other than that, I mean, the gem converters help it go off more quickly, but it's really gather the pack, Itmolac, and the rebirth that are the key cards. So I'm just going to end the game here. Appreciate you guys watching. Let me know what comments you have, and sign up for my YouTube channel, subscribe. I love when that happens. It gives me a little smile on my face every time a new subscriber hits. And I really appreciate all the support, all the views, all the comments, guys. It's the reason I keep making these videos. You guys make me happy. All right, peace out. God, I'm cheesy. All right, see ya.